Hello again, Val. Good afternoon from KLCC. It's the second day right here at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for the 47th ASEAN Summit, and we're about to wrap up actually the working day, which means it's time for me to give another round of highlights from the 47th ASEAN Summit from here in KLCC. So Val, it was a full and consequential second day in Kuala Lumpur as leaders continued their series of high-level engagements with regional and global partners. There were 5 major summits that took place today. Some are still happening right now as I speak, each addressing a different pillar of ASEAN's regional diplomacy, from trade and development. Now, these major summits include the ASEAN-Korea Summit, the ASEAN +3 Summit, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP Summit, the East Asia Summit, and the ASEAN United Nations Summit. So let me just go through one by one these truly highly influential summits that took place today. The day began with the 26th ASEAN-Korea Summit. Now, this summit reaffirmed the deep and dynamic partnership between ASEAN and the Republic of South Korea. Now, both sides pledged to elevate cooperation in key growth sectors, from digital innovation, renewable energy, green infrastructure, and resilient supply chains. So a lot were discussed. Now, of course, at the moment, South Korea is already one of ASEAN's biggest trading partners. They're at number 5, actually, with the value of trade surpassing $200 billion last year. Now, this summit is aimed to build on that momentum. The second key meeting today was the 28th ASEAN +3 Summit, involving China, Japan, and South Korea, alongside the 11 ASEAN member states. Now, this mechanism was created back in 1997 following the Asian financial crisis. Now, most of us remember what happened on that year, which is probably one of the biggest turning points in Indonesia's history. Now, this mechanism was created at that time. And at this year's summit, leaders discussed steps to strengthen financial safety nets. They also explored greater cooperation of food and energy security, public health, and supply chain diversification, learning from vulnerabilities that were exposed during the pandemic. Later in the day, leaders convened for the 5th Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP Summit. Now, this was signed in 2020. RCEP is the world's largest free trade agreement, encompassing 15 economies that account for nearly 1/3 of total GDP and population. Now, at this summit, leaders reviewed implementation progress and called for greater inclusivity, ensuring that small and medium enterprises, which is actually the backbone of ASEAN's economy, can better tap into RCEP's benefits. Now, among the key priorities that were discussed at the summit were e-commerce integration, trade facilitation for digital goods, and green trade standards that support sustainable industries. And then the 20th East Asia Summit. It is happening right now as we speak. It's brought together leaders from across the Pacific, so not just ASEAN state members, but also including the United States, China, Russia, Japan, India, Australia, and New Zealand, alongside state leaders from ASEAN. So you can say that this is the region's premier forum for political and security dialogue. The discussion focused on maintaining regional peace and stability, particularly for the matters of the South China Sea, as well as matters of energy security and climate transition. And leaders are also exploring cooperation in renewable energy investment and green technology transfers. Now, later on, to end the series of summits today, there will be a 15th ASEAN United Nations Summit, a meeting that reaffirmed the alignment between ASEAN's community-building goals and the UN's 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. Now, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who's also attending the summit, has commended ASEAN for its leadership in climate action, peacekeeping, and sustainable development, and pledged stronger UN support for the bloc's initiatives in disaster response, public health, and social inclusion. So, Val, as day 2 comes to a close now, the series of summits so far reflected ASEAN's evolving role. not just a regional bloc, but as a diplomatic hub where the world's major powers converge. Now, tomorrow's final sessions are expected, of course, to deliver the joint statements from the state leaders and also actionable plans, deliverables, wrapping up what has been a pivotal summit for Southeast Asia regional leadership. So make sure to stay tuned to TV Our World tomorrow for the full coverage. I'm Siska Becker, together with Hari Hamdallah, camera person, reporting live from KLCC for the 47th ASEAN Summit. Back to you in the studio, Val.
Thank you, Siska, for your report.